Everybody, and welcome back to the channel and to the Ultimate Racing League for our Sunday Championship. I'm with the League 3 guys in the Suzuki Swift, and this week, for anyone that plays on a regular basis, you will recognise that view, and it is turn 11 at Laguna, Secca in California in USA. Excuse me. Famous, of course, for the dreaded corkscrew. We'll come on to that a little bit later on. So I'm not going to go through the points for this one, mainly because I haven't got them in front of me. But we're at round 4, so it is only early days, really. Not very well prepared, am I? I should have had the points, but I'll go through the points next week. But as I say, we are only at round 4. So plenty of racing left in this championship. 2 races for you today. First one is just an out-and-out sprint. Second one, there will be a required tyre change. But again, more about race 2 when we get to race 2. So without further ado, what we'll do is we'll go down the grid and have a look and see where everybody's placed. Now, this is after 10 minutes of qualifying. And as you can see, Harry Poppins has managed to get himself on pole position. A great place to be, actually. You want to be in the top sort of 5 or 6, especially around this track. Try and avoid any bumps and scrapes early on. But Harry Poppins out there on pole. Frowny is in second. Scott is third. Enzo Jack is fourth. Bazza is fifth. Pete is sixth. Wayne G 7th. Sunes is 8th. Phaser 9th. Thingamajig 10th. Molepiece 11th. Aussie Rooster is 12th on the grid, with Viking just sitting behind him in 13th and DB in 14th. So 2 missing, and I believe it is Dizzy Rip and Max. Now apparently they went out into the local town and sort of wandered off to a party. They went out with the rest of the drivers just to celebrate the up and coming race, but these two drifted off to a party, and well, nobody's seen them since. They didn't make it back in time to practice this morning, and they're certainly not on the grid now, so God only knows where they are, somewhere laying in a stupor somewhere. But I'm sure when they wake up, they'll realise what's happening, and well, we might see them in race 2. I don't know. If not, hopefully they'll be back next week. So anyway, let's crack on with this race, shall we? We'll get it started. It's a rolling start. Now, I'm going to go down to Phaser, because unfortunately on this track, when the race starts, the guy in 9th position, well 8th just makes it, but in 9th position you're actually at turn 11. So anybody sort of 8th, 9th and behind all have to start at turn 11, which yeah, it gives it a little bit of an unfair advantage to the guys up front, because they're already sort of a second and a half away. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? As Harry Poppins takes us through the first few corners. Now, talking of Harry Poppins, I do want to give a shout out to the sponsors, and Harry Poppins is one of them, and that's Eldridge Air Conditioning. The other sponsor being W.GG, the energy drink for gamers. Without them, obviously, we won't be able to bring you these races, so thank you very much, guys. And also, Harry Poppins, very busy boy, he also saves and shares the races along with Phaser. So again, thank you very much to those guys. Now, we're just seeing Harry Poppins and Frowny, as Frowny makes a move on Harry Poppins as they go into this famous corkscrew. Now, I'm just going to go down the grid just to make sure everybody is getting through there. And I shall tell you a little bit about this corkscrew in a minute as DB gets through there. So everybody sort of got around. Frowny kicking up a bit of dust as we go around turn 10, approaching turn 11, this sharp left-hander. And then it's on to the start-finish straight to complete lap 1. So Frowny now the new leader of this race, with Harry Poppins slotting in behind him. Scott in 3rd. Enzo Jack in 4th, Bazza 5th, and he's coming under attack from Pete. Pete's having a bit of a cheeky look up the inside as we go to turn 1. Just backs out at the last minute, decides to leave that one alone and fight another day. Excuse me. Wayne G in 7th. He'll be looking to try and make his way up through the grid. It's not like Wayne G to be sort of mid-pack really, is it? Souness as well, another quick driver, so these two could have quite a battle in 7th and 8th. Now I'm just going to go back up to Frowny as he comes up to turn 7. Now turn 7, well, it's not really a turn. On some track guides you've got 12 turns. On the one I'm using we've got 11, because what they're saying between 6 and 7 they count that as another turn. It's not, it's more of a kink in the road. So again, everybody getting through, although it did look like somebody's picked up a penalty already, and that's Pete in 6th position. He's the first victim of this track to pick up a penalty, but the main thing is everybody is still going, and nobody has fallen foul of the corkscrew yet. Now this corkscrew, I said I'd mention it just in the early stages of this race. It's the track itself. There's a 55-metre elevation change from the top to the bottom, and the corkscrew itself, that's got an 18-metre drop. That's 59 feet, and that is from the entry at turn 7 or 8, depending on what track you're looking at, to the exit of turn 8. So into turn 7, exit turn 8, 59-foot drop, 18 metres. And we will go on board with one of the guys in a minute as we approach the corkscrew, just so you can get a driver's eye view of it. Excuse me, really, I've got a frog in my throat this morning. In fact, what we will do is we will jump on board with Frowny, and that's turn 7 on Tron track guides. We're not counting it today. It's more kink in the road, but this is up to the corkscrew. You can see it's a blind corner, this first one, and then you drop down and it throws you round to the right. And if we just have a quick look in the rearview mirror, we can see Harry Poppins chasing us down. Now this is a very tricky part of the track as well, through turns 8, 9, and then through turn 10, and you can see there is sand absolutely everywhere. So if you go off, make sure you've got your bucket and spade in the boot, because you may as well just sit down and make sandcastles, because getting back on the track is it takes a long while. But these guys making it look easy really. So Frowny's still leading them from Harry Poppins as they come down to turn 1. Scott coming down to turn 1 very, very quickly. Very late on the brakes for Scott. He's trying to catch up with the two guys in front of him. He doesn't want to let them get too far away. So sticking with the front two is Scott. Bazzary's in there as well, Scott's teammate. So good points for those guys at the minute. Enzo Jack in 5th, Pete in 6th. Swaney G and Souness still battling away. Oh, as Pete's gone off. And this is what I was saying. Pete did remarkably well though. Let's just, I'm just going to go back and have a look at that, and you can see what kind of dangers there are. So we're going to do the, I like this cam when we're doing replays. This is the drone one. Oh, and Pete, he's just got himself on the sausage curb, which has thrown him off now. He did an absolute fantastic job of keeping the car pointing the right way and not coming back onto the track and getting in the way of Wayne G and Souness. So good driving from Pete, good car control. So yeah, he did well there. Phaser in 9th, he's got Thingamajig chasing him down as they go through the kinky bit. Excuse me. Up the hill, Aussie Rooster now really putting the pressure on Thingamajig as they go into the corkscrew for the 4th time, and that drop. Bit of a stomach churner that one. It's great if you like the roller coasters, and I think that's why it's named the corkscrew, because it's very similar to a roller coaster. But you can see Thingamajig. Let's go on board with Thingamajig as we try and chase down Phaser, but we've also got one eye on the mirror as Aussie Rooster is all over the back of us. He's trying to have a bit of a look in the boots of Thingamajig's car, having a look at his bucket and spade, seeing how big it is. He's thinking of the sandcastle competition later, is Aussie Rooster. Down the hill towards turn 1, hard on the brakes for this left-hander, avoiding those big sleeping policeman style sausage curbs on the left-hand side. And as we saw with Pete earlier, if you catch one of those, then it really does unsettle the car. But Thingamajig getting through the first couple of turns, okay. That was where Pete came off, and Thingamajig avoided that one well. So as they head down towards turn 6, again hard on the brakes, up the left-hander, and then up the hill, trying the hardest not to drift too far to the right. Keeping it on to the right now for this the kinky bit. Avoiding the sausage again, and again the sand on the right, and you can see it's sand absolutely everywhere. But then again, we are in California. And then it's hard on the brakes into the corkscrew where the car gets really unsettled, so it's good car control there from Thingamajig to get through that bit. Oh, we don't want to drift too far there, and then through turn 10. Foot down towards turn 11, then it's hard on the brakes again for this sharp 90 degree. Oh, and Thingamajig just went a bit too deep. Now then, has he let Aussie Rooster in? I think he has. Aussie Rooster got a much better exit. Where is he? There he is. So they're now side by side as we race down towards turn 1. Aussie Rooster on the inside. Oh, he just manages to drift back over onto the racing line. Hard on the brakes. Thingamajig maybe thinking about trying to get the cut back, but Aussie Rooster cuts that one off and says, no thank you, not today. I've got by, and I'm keeping hold of P10. So great racing between those two. We're just going to go up to the top now. I think we've missed a change, and apologise for that. But Harry Poppins is now back in the lead with Scott in second. So I'm just going to go back and just... No. I thought I was going to go back just a little bit then just to see what happened. So apologies for missing that one. But I think Frowny must have had a bit of an issue, because Harry Poppins has retaken the lead with Scott now moving up into second, and Frowny has dropped into third, with Bazza in fourth. So Frowny's just splitting the two teammates. Enzo Jack, he's down there in fifth. So some good points to be had for a couple of the teams. We've got the Martini boys up there in the top 5, and also, well, I'm not sure what that livery is, but anyway, they're getting good points. Frowny, one of my teammates. Go on, Frowny. I'm not biased or anything at all, but it would be nice if Frowny won this one. Not that I can actually influence it at all, I'm merely commentating on it, but secretly rooting for Frowny. But like I say, I'm not biased. So down towards turn 1 then, Harry Poppins still out in front, taking a bit of a cautious turn 1 there, I thought. Scott seemed to come down there a lot quicker. But these four are pretty well bunched up, really. So at the minute, it's anybody's race, as Basil really piles the pressure on Frowny. He is really getting up the smelly end, isn't he? Practically pushing Frowny along. And as we come down now towards turn 5, let's have a look. Is Basil... Oh no, Frowny shut the door on him. I thought Basil was going to have a bit of a look at turn 5. Through turn 6 they go. Oh, I have counted it. Turn 6. Oh, I don't know where I am. Yes, we have counted it. Turn 6 is the king. Then we've got turn 7 is the entry into the corkscrew. And turn 8 is the exit. On some guides, they call the entry turn 8 and the exit turn 8A. There, sorted. Cleared that one up. I'm all over. It is early. It's early for me anyway. So Basil really putting the pressure on Frowny. Let's just go down the pack, shall we, and see what's happening elsewhere. Wayne G still sitting in 6. As I said earlier, it's not really like him to be mid-pack. Maybe this is just not his track. But he's in there in 6, so it's not a bad position at the minute. Souness in 7. Pete in 8. Then we've got Phaser. Thingamajig now still in 10th. Excuse me. Aussie Rooster in 11th, Viking in 12th. Now Viking, he's been having some mixed races just lately. He's been doing very well actually in the Nations and some of the online races, and he's also been doing well in the Beetle. So Viking is a very, very quick driver. It's again unusual to see him down in P12, but then again, like I said before, it might just not be his track. It's certainly not mine. But Viking will keep fighting. He will be probably looking at P10 actually. He's probably got his eye on Thingamajig in P10, so he'll be thinking about getting by Aussie Rooster and then up to Thingamajig and taking P10 away. That's probably a realistic thing for Viking at the minute. Now what we're not seeing is a lot of people going off and building sandcastles now. DB must have had a bit of a moment because he's way off the pace at the minute. Bit of a flash at the lights there at the camera. Always the show off is DB as he goes through the corkscrew for the 8th time. Now 17 laps this race is, so we are just about halfway. Another flash of the lights. I don't know who's flashing out there. Maybe it is the cameraman, or he's just seen somebody in the crowd and he's giving them a bit of a flash and a wave. We're not sure what's going on there, but back up to the top then. Henry Poppins around turn 3, still leading this race from Scott. Frowney in 3rd, Bazza in 4th, Enzo Jack in 5th, and then there is a bit of a gap then back to Wayne G in 6th. So let's just have a look at the lap time, shall we? Scott has got the fastest lap, currently a 1:27.9. Henry Poppins, he's well, look at that for consistency. 28.2, 28.2, 28.3. That's consistent from Henry Poppins. Scott, as I've seen, has said he's got the fastest 27, but it's a bit of a mixed bag there. 28s, 29s. Brownies, he's in the 28s as well, so good lap times from him. So all the top 3 are in and around the same sort of pace, as is Bazza. Bazza though coming under attack from Enzo. Excuse me. I think I need a quick swig of juice. Yeah, that might help. Sorry about that. So Enzo Jack, yeah, he's really piling the pressure on. Let's go on board with Enzo Jack as we go down towards turn 1. We're putting the pressure on Bazza. Now Bazza, I thought he was going to go very defensive. Well, he is sort of defensive, isn't he? He's trying to hold on to that inside line. The thing is, once you've done turn 1 and 2, it's one turn really. If you're on the outside at turn 2, it puts you on the inside for turn 3. As Bazza kicking up a load of sand, he's trying to put Enzo Jack off by not letting him see where he's going, creating a cloud dust, but picking up too much dust, and Enzo Jack looks like he's gone through. Oh, still side by side as they go through turn 6. Oh, a great cut back from Enzo Jack. Now we will definitely have another look at that one. Some brilliant racing from these two. Bazza really using every inch of this track, and maybe a bit more that he shouldn't. You can see he kicked off a lot of dust there, which allowed Enzo Jack to go around the outside. Bazza managed to hold on to the inside, but then Enzo Jack just a little bit earlier on the brakes and got that cutback done. Much better exit. Fantastic move from Enzo Jack as they go up the hill now through turn 7 and then head towards the corkscrew. And Enzo Jack now up into 4th position. And let's just follow these guys through the corkscrew. Bazza fighting back though. You need a good exit out of there, which then takes you into turn 9. Both of them kicking up a little bit of dust, but great racing from these guys. Now we are getting a little bit spread out now. Oh, and Bazza's picked up half a second. That is so unlucky. Bit of a smile on Enzo Jack's face, I'm sure. Wayne G as well will also benefit from that penalty of Bazza's. He might not be close enough to actually take the position, but he'll certainly get a lot closer, and he can definitely start putting the pressure on Bazza. So we'll keep an eye on Wayne G as we start. Get my words out as we start lap 11. What's happening? His brain's all completely fuzzled this morning. Soonest then in 7th. He's got Pete having a good sniff of his rear end in 8th. Some great little battles going off on this track at the minute. One mistake is all it takes, and it costs you big time. But these guys really are coping well with this track. I thought we were in for a lot more fun as a spectator. Thingamajig down in 10th. He's decided he's going to kick up a bit of a sandstorm and try and block Viking's view. Viking down in 11th now. Molepiece in 12th. Aussie Rooster 13th. Well, Aussie, well, he had a fantastic start to this race, didn't he? And I'm not quite sure what's happened. He's obviously gone off at some point. He's now got a half a second penalty and finds himself down in 13th. So he's had a bit of an issue, hasn't he? And sorry we're missing this, but you can't watch everybody all at once. And then DB down at 14th, and he is off the pace now, isn't he? He's around about the 130s, 131, something like that. I would say it's probably 31 average compared to Scott on the 27th. But like I say, this is one of them tracks, you either love it or hate it. You either do well here or you have a nightmare. So Harry Poppins, though, he seemed to have be getting on very well with this track, as does Scott and Frowny. So these three now really are opening up a bit of a gap. Enzo Jack fallen off the pace a bit, so maybe he's had a bit of an issue. But looking at his times, he's now at 29s, but then again we are starting to get a bit of tyre wear, so that's going to start to kick in. The tyres are going to start hurting a bit, so we might start seeing a few more people struggling. Oh, the dog's come in to see me. Hello. The dog's come in to see what I'm up to. Oh, hi down there. Bazza's still in 5th. Wayne G in 6th still. Now, I thought when Bazza served his penalty, Wayne might have got a little bit closer and able to put the pressure on Bazza, but he's not quite close enough yet, is he? But this is a great battle going back here for P7th as Souness and Pete as they go around turn 11. Oh, Souness gets that turn completely wrong, goes way too deep. That's allowed Pete through, and Pete with the momentum goes through to P7 and down towards turn 1. Now Souness, he's trying to go all the way around the outside now. I think his idea is go around the outside at turns 1 and 2, and it immediately puts you on the inside at turn 3, but he couldn't get close enough, could he? And Pete can just stick to the racing line. He's not really got to defend anything at the minute. Souness isn't quite close enough. Got a bit of a gap opening up there, and you can see the guys just drifting that a little bit too wide. Oh, who's that? I think it was Viking. Let's have a look. Oh, and it looks like Thingamajig's gone off as well, so let's see what's going on here. So it looks like a three-way battle into turn 1 with Phaser, Viking and Thingy. Viking trying to go up the inside. Oh, as Thingy goes through, Phaser ends up off, Thingy ends up off, Viking. He carries on going. Oh, and he's at the sausage curb, which has unsettled the cars, threw him off as well. Well, it's all happening, isn't it? Back here, let's just have one more look at that. Almost three wide into turn 1 as Phaser turns in. Thingamajig goes flying through the middle of the two of them. He gets a little tap from Viking, nothing intentional, I don't think. As Viking then goes through, he hits the sausage curb, he goes off. Phaser had already gone off, but after all of that, Phaser carries on through in 9th. Thingamajig takes 10th, and Viking unfortunately is parked up in the sandpit, and then just gets back on track in 12th. But he's going to have to be careful now. He's got Aussie Rooster chasing him down, and he's going to have very, very dirty tyres, so he's going to have to be careful through the next couple of turns, 5 and 6. He's got to get them tyres cleaned off. So it's unlucky for Viking. Thingamajig in 10th. He can carry on now chasing Phaser down as they head up towards the corkscrew. We'll follow Thingamajig through the corkscrew. Very nicely done. Phaser still in 9th. So we'll go and have a look, see what's happening up at the top then. It's still Harry Poppins leading, and he's now got the fastest lap, a 127.8. Scott in 2nd still. Frowny in 3rd. He's getting a little bit closer, is Frowny. You can see he's just got a purple sector as well, so Frowny's definitely putting his foot down. The tyre wear isn't bothering him, is it? So these three at the minute looking like they will be on the podium. We're on lap 14 of 17, and there is quite a gap now back to Enzo Jack in fourth. He's still got Bazza just behind him with Wayne G in there as well. Wayne G just can't quite get close enough, can he, to Bazza. Great view of the hills of California in the back there. Obviously it's going to be nice and sunny and bright and very, very hot, so track temperature up. That would help deteriorate the tyres as well. Oh, as Wayne G picks up half a second coming out the exit of the corkscrew. Now you can see the bar filling up. I can't remember where it is. I think the yeah, it must be the penalty zone is just after turn 11. There it is. So Wayne G serves his half a second, then he can get his foot back down again and try and catch up to Bazza in fifth. Pete just not too far behind in seventh. He'll gain a little bit of ground on Wayne G. Not enough to put him under any pressure at the minute, but he's certainly going to gain a tenth or two. We've got Souness down in eighth. So the guys at the back sort of spreading out a little bit now. Fazer still in ninth after that issue on the last lap with Viking and Thingamajig. Thingamajig doing everything he can to get back onto the boot lid of Fazer. Great aerial shots. The drone guys are really earning their money today as Fazer goes a little bit too wide there and kicks up some sand, so that's going to put a bit of dirt on his tyres. In fact, that's allowed Thingamajig to get a lot closer to Fazer, so we could have a bit of a battle on our hands here for P9 as we go through turn 6 and start the climb up towards the corkscrew. So Fazer in ninth. Yeah, he's doing okay at the minute. He's just got to keep it on the track. Now that first turn, as you saw the cars just dip into that left-hand turn, if you take that too much, it will actually throw you onto the sand as well, so you've got to be careful. Maltese in 11th, then we've got Viking, Aussie and DB, all very spread out at the back, but up at the front it's not so spread out. Harry Poppin's still out in front, but he's not having it all his own way, is he? Scott still breathing down his exhaust pipe, and Frowney doing exactly the same to Scott. We'll jump on board with Scott, who's sandwiched in the middle of these two guys. And if we just have a quick look behind, obviously got the tinted windows at the back, try and keep the glare out of the cabs. Not at the front though, where you thought they'd want it. And that drop, remember I said 18 metres drop, so don't put your seatbelt on, you'll have your nose planted firmly against the windscreen when you go down that one. A great racing between these three up at the front. Around turn 11 and heading towards the start-finish line to start the 17th and final lap of this first race. So the three of them across the line. Enzo Jack still sitting in fourth. Be good points for him if he can stay there. The Martini guys will pick up some really good points if it stays like this, the first and fourth. Baz have got other ideas though. Currently sitting in fifth, but this is the last lap, so if anything's going to happen they need to hurry up and do it. Wayne G in sixth, he's going to have to settle for that I think. Same with Pete in seventh, Souness in eighth, then a big gap then back to Fazer in ninth. He's still having this little battle with Thingamajig getting a lot closer around turn 1 and then turn 2. That is almost one big turn though. Thingamajig trying to put the pressure on Fazer, trying to force a mistake from him. That's ideally what he wants. Fazer still kicking up sand to try and blind Thingamajig. Oh, and now he's getting a lot closer. Thingamajig, he senses it. Thingamajig thinks he's going to get that P9 now. He's gone round the outside. And if he pulls this one off, that's a fantastic move. Oh, and Fazer still fighting back. Fazer hanging on to that inside line. Thingamajig having to drop down to 10th now. But it is side by side through turn 7. Still side by side as they race up towards the corkscrew. I'm going to stay with these guys. I know the others are going to be crossing the finish line, but we'll come back to that. I just want to stay with these guys as Thingamajig just backs out as they go into the corkscrew. Fazer getting a little bit sideways, but manages to hold on to it. Fantastic racing between those guys. Now I am going to go back and I will see the other guys cross the line, but I had to stay with those two. So Harry Poppins across the line to take the win. Well done to him. Scott in second, Frowney across the line in third. Great racing from those guys. Enzo Jack, is he going to get across the line in fourth? Just ahead of Bazza, he does. Wayne G in sixth. Pete is going to cross the line in 7th. Souness, he will finish in 8th. Bit of a gap between himself and Pete. And Fazer and Thingamajig still at it. All the way to the line. It is side by side. Oh, wow, what a finish this is. And I think Fazer just gets ahead of Thingamajig in 10th. Fantastic racing from those two guys. Molepiece in 11th. In fact, I'm going to go back and have another look. This is brilliant racing up towards turn 11 and still side by... No, let's go back a bit more. I'm loving this. So out of the corkscrew, Thingamajig, we thought it was all over for him and P10 was all he's going to get. He had other ideas though. As they go around turn 10, you can see Fazer hanging on by his fingernails to that P9. Into turn 11 they go. Thingamajig looking at the cutback, a bit later earlier on the brakes, and it is side by side all the way to the finish line. And Fazer just makes it across the line. Thingamajig in 10th. Molepiece across the line in 11th. Viking, not a great race for him, down in 12th. Aussie Rooster started well, but it all fell apart mid-race for Aussie Rooster in 13th, and DB still flashing the lights. Maybe he's got a dodgy connection, that's what the light thing's all about. And DB across the line in 14th. What a brilliant start to this evening's races. Hopefully you can join me for race 2. If you've enjoyed this, please hit the like button, and if you've not already subscribed, if you could do so, it will really help me out. Catch you all very shortly for race 2 here in California.